Hey, this is Dancing Rabbit. You guys kind of keep your fingers and toes crossed because hopefully this one will work. I've been working on this for about 4 hours. The camera keeps dying, the webcam keeps messing up, and it's not even Mercury retrograde. Okay, let's go to the question from Reva Witch. Here's something new and interesting. Would love to get your opinion on the new eBay ban on selling spells, potions, healing, prayers, tarot readings, and such. I believe Etsy will follow suit. Someone else asked me recently on my personal channel about magic for profit because they feel it's wrong, yet people should be able to make money from their services. So where do we draw the line? How do we personally deal with the profit aspect? Okay, if I'm talking fast, it's because I'm trying to get through this before the camera dies again. The reason that eBay probably came up with the ban is because there were complaints. Somebody bought a love spell and Prince Charming didn't ride by. She didn't fall madly in love with the person. They bought a reading and the reading didn't come true. So they want their money back. They want to get that con man, con woman that sold them that fake spell and did that fake reading. And I'm sure some of them were fake, and probably they need to have something done to them or other. But that's probably the reason for the ban. But that's not really why I've been working on this for hours and hours. I want to talk to you about my feelings about magic for sale, spells for profit, and how it's changed. I'm a Wiccan based pagan, and I think that part of my attitude about selling spells, buying spells, I mean, I'll go into a witchy shop and spend money on a new athame or cloak or some incense or candles, but ask me to buy a spell or let me know they're selling spells out of the back room, I'm kind of like, ooh, that's not quite right. What's the origin of that attitude, and why is that attitude kind of changed? I think part of it goes back to the origins of Wicca. Gerald Gardner started Wicca as an initiatory, group-based religion. So you've got a dozen or so people that are a coven, and they're led by a high priest, high priestess, who are like the clergy. But it is expected that even the brand new dedicate who's working on the year and the day thing will be able to go directly to the gods without going through the priest and priestess at a full moon. You can do it on your own. And beyond that, once you are initiated, you are a magic user. You are a witch. You have been trained in the magical arts. And by the time you make a third degree, you go off and start your own coven or stay as an honored elder in your original coven. So it's a little bit like the priesthood of all believers in Protestant Christianity, except that it goes yet a step beyond. So that why do we really need a clergy? Why do we don't really have a congregation? Maybe we're all clergy, and it's even more so in the eclectic or neo that I'm a part of because I don't have a high priest and priestess that initiate. I'm self-initiated. I read some books. I started doing it. I can go directly to the gods. So, what is my motivation for paying someone to do spell work for me? I can do it myself. And beyond that, what's the market for spells among pagans or divination among pagans? There really is no market because you can do it yourself. So you don't need to pay me to do it for you. Now, beyond that, there's the idea that magic is more powerful if you put your own self into it. You're active rather than passive. And in a coven, whether it's a traditional coven or more of a group, grove, a looser sort of organization, um, you're like a family. And so it's a gift economy. And I would no more charge one of my fellow CUPS members to do a spell or to do a card reading than I would sell tickets to Thanksgiving dinner to my family. You bring gifts, maybe a bottle of wine or something to the dinner party, but you don't bring cash. The host would be offended. And you'd be a little taken aback if the host expected you to bring cash. It's that kind of a relationship that we have in the pagan community. So as after Feather and I moved to Houston and I started going to herbarias and botanicas to buy things, I encountered people who were charging money for spell work. Now they didn't call it spells, they call it trabajos, works. But it's the same thing. You go in the back room of the botanica and you can get a cleansing or a card reading, or you can have the local shopkeeper slash brujo slash curandero light candles for you or do some other sort of spell work for you. And they charge money. I mean, that's how they make a living, that's how they pay the bills. So, why isn't that wrong? Why don't they consider it wrong? In getting to know some of these folks, most of them were really good, ethical people. They weren't con men, con artists. They were doing a valid service for their clientele. How did it get that way? Well, I don't really know, but my best guess has to do with the various traditions that these people are a part of, came out of, that are their background, their heritage, their culture. That's both Roman Catholicism and some of the African diaspora diasporate religions such as Voodoo, Catalambe, Santeria, Palo. All of these have a really strong priesthood who didn't just decide to be a priest or work up to be a priest. They were called, they were born, they were chosen by the gods for that office. And everybody in that religion isn't chosen for a priestly office. And there's also a rather large congregation of members who are not priests, who do not work magic themselves, but they go to the priest, to the brujo, to uh, uh, to do that work for them. And since that person has the special calling and the special knowledge, um, then that's what they do. And there is an exchange because this is a rather formal sort of business relationship. It's not a, friend helping a friend. It's a business relationship. And it's done ethically and honorably in that way. I've had more than one person from those traditions tell me that only a thief would expect to get something for nothing. So there is an exchange of value for value. Now, I've begun to modify some of my feelings is by being around people that had a different background than I did and looking at their feelings toward magic for profit. So the last couple of years, I have done tarot readings at various local psychic fairs. They're basically new age type events, and I don't feel that I have broken any rules or done anything wrong to charge $20 for a 20-minute reading because my readings are quality readings. They are real, they are authentic. Now, I've watched other psychics or so called psychics there do what really, to me, look like cold readings that, I wouldn't go to them. I wouldn't trust them. The readings didn't seem to me to be authentic. But I think in anything you're going to get some of that kind of people. In being around the folks at the herbarias, I haven't run into that or haven't run into it yet. They seem to be very authentic in delivering quality service. So I also have a website up where I do readings. I don't do them very often right now because my day job's taking up so much time. But you can go to keen.com, Keen, and you can search me out. And if you really, really, really want a reading, we'll schedule some kind of time to do it. And there's a fee, and the company gets part of it, and I get part of it. But I don't feel that that is unethical. I do have two caveats, which I hope I can get in before the webcam dies again. The first is that the spell or the reading should be real. In hanging out with some of the New Age people, I've seen a lot of what look like con jobs, spiritual products that were just incredibly flaky. looking. And, I didn't say anything. I didn't call them out on it. That's not my job. But uh, I just, was kind of turned off by it. I've seen some readers do some kind of shady things. So whatever it is needs to be real. It needs to be authentic. And the second thing, it needs to be fairly priced. I was doing a book signing at the little witchy shop up in Lawton, Oklahoma, and late in the afternoon, an African American woman, maybe in her late 40s, came in, and she was wanting something because her daughter's boyfriend was just a real loser, and she wanted something that would break their relationship up because she felt it was bad for her daughter. And the shopkeeper steered her away from that kind of commanding, controlling spell to, why don't we do something that will open your daughter's eyes, that will let her clearly see the situation, whatever it is around her, and then let her make up her own mind as to whether she wants to leave this guy. And the woman agreed and then said, well, I need to go out to my car and get some more money. And the shopkeeper said, well, get some more money? Like, how much do you think this candle spell is going to cost? I said, well, I don't know, $140. And much to the shopkeeper's, the store owner's credit, she said, no, not quite. We can go two ways. I can sell you a candle and some oil and tell you how to dress the candle, and you can do the spell, and that'll cost you about $12. Or I can sell you an already prepared candle for about $15. But we're not going to do $140. So I think that the price should be reasonable, not outrageous. And if you're buying spells, I don't think a $140 spell is any more powerful than, say, a $20 or $30 or $40 spell. A lot depends on the materials that the person's going to have to get together to do the spell, whether it's one taper candle and a bottle of oil, or whether it's a half dozen 7-day candles and various oils and herbs, and you're going to have to shift the candles around on the working altar every day for a week, depending on how much work goes into it. But it should be reasonably and fairly priced. Well, I've got another warning that the laptop battery's running down, so I'm going to stop and see if I can upload this thing before the whole thing dies. Till next week, Dancing Rabbit, wishing you lots and lots of peace and luck and good times. Bye-bye.